Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it. Okay, do you guys remember that guy, what was his name? Dave. Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man. There's a classic.
Dave's not here, man. Did you say you were watching?
What am I supposed to do?
What's that?
Am I supposed to do something here?
No, you're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to be quiet.
I'll be quiet.
And you can turn your camera off if you want.
Yeah, and you can turn your camera off. But we were hoping you would be quiet. But apparently that was beyond...
That was wishful thinking.
That was wishful thinking.
Beyond our expectation, yeah.
Our
dreams are yet crushed against.
Yeah, our dreams are crushed again. Okay, let's get right to it. We got the Queso Cowboy, the greatest name in all of AML land. I hope you don't take that personally, Bruce. When we say the Queso Cowboy, it's the greatest name.
Oh, it's a great handle.
It's the great. I think, who gave that to him? Was that you?
It might have been me. I don't know.
Yeah. You've been known to give out the good handles. We have the
known to get a good handle or two. Yeah.
Yeah. Say hey, Queso.
Hey, everybody.
And then we got Bruce the Mailboy, and tonight it's me, the evil overlord. And tonight we're going to talk to Dave Owens. Do you remember who Dave Owens is, Bruce?
With Owens Corning Fiberglass?
Yeah, that guy. He's the president of Owens Corning Fiberglass.
Beautiful. I didn't know he was a moderator.
Yeah, you can talk now, Dave.
Hello there.
Attaboy.
I wish I had some of that Owens Corning fiberglass money.
But then
so it's not that Dave Owens.
Yeah. Now you're away from the microphone.
Yeah, I looked over to see what a cat was doing.
I bought this thing that I got to hook up to, and if it works, I'm going to get one for you. It's supposed to improve the Sexy Voicinator 2000.
Ooh.
It's a power boost, an amp of some sort.
Makes like a Sexy Voicinator 2500 or something?
I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah,
that sounds exciting.
It may be a piece of hardware we keep. It may be a piece of hardware we take back.
Yeah. Time will tell.
Yeah. There's a lot of work in having these fancy studios.
Everybody thinks it's all just fun and games. You plug in a mic and away you go. But no, it's not that easy.
So
it was that easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. Do you know why we're here, Queso?
I think we're probably going to talk to somebody.
We're going to talk to Dave Owens. Say hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
So Dave is the guy. Dave, you single-handedly run NERPM. Excuse me.
Excuse us.
Yeah. You single-handedly run NERPM, don't you?
Not true. I have a team.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
There's no I in team.
There's no I in team. So we're here because we're going to broadcast this before the NERPM event, the New England. Well, it says both here.
It says both. You go with either one.
Okay.
New England, Northeast, prototype modelers meet.
Railroad prototype. So it's the New England Northeast RPM meet, which stands for NERPM. Excuse me.
Correct.
And you guys, like everybody else, last year you didn't have an RPM meet. You didn't have your meet last year.
We didn't have it the last 2 years.
Oh, really? The last 2 years?
Because we're in June or late May, early June, and COVID got us both times.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah, you really got X'd out on in 2020. And then when 2021 rolled around, there was some hope for a little while, but then it was dashed as well.
It was, and it was further aggravated by the fact that our hotel went out of business.
Went out of business?
Ooh. Sure did.
Wow.
Converted it into apartments.
Well, which hotel were you at?
It was the Marriott in Farmington, Connecticut, which is just west of Hartford.
Really? A Marriott went out of business?
It was in a business park co-located with the headquarters of United Technologies and derived from UTC, a lot of business. UTC got gobbled up by Raytheon. The headquarters vanished. And I guess the folks around the hotel figured this is as good a time as any to sell the place for apartments.
And that was all she wrote. Not very often you hear about not very often you hear about a Marriott being closed up.
No, and it was a nice place. It was a real shame. We really liked it, and they liked us.
So then, in 2021, then not only were you unable to have it because of COVID, you lost your hotel as well.
Correct.
And there was for a little while there was a lot of hand-wringing, wasn't there, about whether it was even going to be able to continue?
We were concerned. We were committed to having some sort of an event, but we really struggled to find a hotel. And then we found a place, and I think it's going to be great. We found the La Quinta Hotel in Springfield, Massachusetts, a short 2 blocks from the Springfield train station.
So it would be on the east side of the river.
Correct.
And
in Springfield proper.
And how far from the original location is this now?
We've had the meet. This will be the 4th location. The first was in the Canton Community Center in Collinsville, Connecticut. And then we moved up to Enfield, which is just on the Massachusetts-Connecticut border. And then we went back to Farmington. So this is probably only about 6 or 7 miles from one of the last locations that we had. So we've sort of been in the same general area.
Right. And when did you find out that you had, it wasn't that long ago that you secured this hotel, was it?
It was not. We were scrambling and just looking, and we had a lead on a high school we were going to go into, a high school with a model railroad club. But as the Omicron surge occurred, they were a little concerned, wanted to hold off on committing. So we kept on searching. And right after the West Springfield show, I was driving through Springfield and I looked at the La Quinta. Someone had suggested it. And I thought we really need to go take a look inside of that place. And John Sacerdote and I went in and bingo, it was perfect.
Okay. Is John involved with your show, or he just happened to be there and you guys decided he was just helping out, or?
We have put him to work. Yes, he's one of our guys.
Oh, really? Cool.
Unfortunately, he's going to be in Italy for this year's meet. Well, unfortunately for us, fortunately for him. But yeah, he's been a great helper. I mean, just a key guy to have. He's John. He's a can-do guy.
He is a can-do guy, that's for sure. So let me ask you a question. I kind of asked this question. Who did I ask? I asked this question to John. Of John Sacerdote when I was interviewing him at Springfield. And let me ask you this same question, because I'm kind of interested in it. Like, I'm assuming I probably already know the answer, but I'm kind of interested in your own words. Like, it must have just been absolutely demoralizing in 2020 when the show had to be canceled, eh?
Well, it was, but we also understood why it was. We were not out of the woods. We're continuing to struggle. Vaccinations, let's see, had not. I'm thinking back. Had they begun yet?
No, I'm talking 2020 when it was canceled in 2020 the first year.
It was a shame. It was tough, but we were in the middle of this health emergency, and it made perfect sense. It would not have been safe, and we certainly wouldn't want to have an event where people were at risk. I think for 2021. We felt pretty much the same way. We weren't quite there, but we feel real confident about this year and us being in a good place. I mean, many people are vaccinated here in the Northeast. We've got very high vaccination rates. The numbers are all pretty much trending in a good direction. There are increases here and there, but I think we're going to be okay.
So, how did you manage to keep the enthusiasm? How many guys are on your crew, roughly?
We've got about a half a dozen, and there was just a real commitment to have something. Even if we couldn't have found a hotel, we were going to have a one-day event. I had talked to a church, and the pastor there said, "Hey, I'd love to have you." So we would have done something, but we really wanted to get back to this traditional 2-day format where we just bring everybody together and everybody immerses themselves in trains.
And so it wasn't that hard then to kind of keep the momentum going, because I know some folks had a problem with that.
Well, we have some folks on our committee who are concerned, continue to be concerned, rightly so, about COVID, and they're probably going to take this year off,
right?
Until we're in a better place, and that makes perfect sense. I can completely appreciate that, but there's enough of us who are ready to press forward and think we can do so safely. And we're looking forward to having the meet. Most of us attended a meet down in Malvern, Pennsylvania, a couple weeks back, and it was great. It was just so great to see everybody to get back into the grind of model trains and getting inspired by models and hanging out with people and just having a great time. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Is that how you would describe it, Tom? Just like the grind of model railroading?
Sometimes it can feel like a grind, but no, I was at the Malvern meet that Dave just mentioned, and he's 100% right. It was really, it was a good meet. The clinics were good and everything, but I think, at least for me, the biggest the biggest joy, or the biggest fun of that meet was being able to reconnect and see people that I haven't seen face to face in 2 years, and some of these people, a lot of them, you're in contact with on Facebook or whatever, and you see at different events and stuff throughout the year. But since none of those events happened for the past 2 years, it was like a big family reunion, in a sense. So, that for me was the great part of seeing things actually starting to happen again, and life, getting, quote unquote, back to normal.
Right. So, and you're talking about COVID and how you're going to deal with that. But I think, from my point of view, is whether you agree with somebody's philosophy about how they want to deal with it or you don't agree, I don't think anybody should really be judgmental about the way somebody decides that they're going to go forward in this particular. And I'm assuming that's kind of where you guys are at.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody's got to make their own choice and be comfortable. And it's perfectly sensible and reasonable for people to analyze the situation and make a decision they think is what is best for them. So that makes all the sense in the world.
Absolutely.
And so, have you had trouble getting clinicians, or?
No, in fact, I'm filled up, which is a wonderful problem to be. In fact, I could probably use 1 or 2 backups. And you heard that snicker there. Tom is going to do his great clinic on his wonderful layout for us. I've got actually, we just published the list of the clinics today, and I'm continuing to work on layout open houses, and we're looking forward to having a full event.
Yeah, so this is going to take place on June 10th to the 11th.
Correct. That's a Friday and a Saturday. Okay. We're going to have a program Thursday night, June 9, for people who get to the hotel on Thursday. Quite a few people come in, and I figure, let's give them something. They're going to be hanging around looking for something to do, so let's come up with an event for them. So we're going to have at least 1 clinic on Thursday night. The hotel promised us that the bar would be open. Not that, that's necessary for having fun, but it sure doesn't hurt. And then Sunday, of course, we'll have the layout open houses.
Have you upgraded your website? Seems a little different to me.
Tom Murray is the webmaster, and he's always tinkering with things and making them better.
Okay. All right. So what does it cost? So why were you snickering there, Tom, when we were talking about clinics? Like, were you strong-arming into doing one, or?
Well, I had shortly after.
Throw me under the bus. It's okay.
Shortly after getting Dave's email a few weeks ago that the NERPM was going to be on, I immediately jumped in and said, "Hey, I'm so excited to hear this. I'm happy to sign up and do a clinic." And so, he said, "All right, you're on the list and everything." And so I, was scheduling my time off and, making my hotel reservations and everything. And I'm sitting on the sofa literally last night, and I get this email, and it's like to the effect of, "Hey, I think I might have too many clinicians signed up. Would you mind being a backup in case I have a cancellation?" So I went from being I essentially got bumped. Like when they used to run out of time for
right.
for Anthony Newley on the Tonight Show or something.
Wow, that's That's ancient.
Yeah, that's going back. How about Jimmy Kimmel and
yeah, Matt Damon. I was Matt Damon.
Yeah. But you're on the list
So-
here. I see that you're on the list. So
And he's back on, absolutely.
So then now he's back.
Did he squawk and say that's it? If he's not he's not coming?
Tom is nothing but a gentleman. And
Yep.
I emailed him and said, hey, just ignore everything I wrote. I screwed up.
I pitched a fit. I said I was talking to my agent, and I said, "You'll never eat lunch in this town again, Owens." No, it was no. I was happy to whatever Dave needed to make the meet a success. I was happy to oblige.
Oh, okay. Can you put your microphone just a little tiny bit closer to your mouth there, Tom? Please and thank you.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better actually.
Okay.
All right. See, and you're not a breather like Hard Part. You know how to you can hold your breath for the entire length of the podcast.
Right.
Okay, so you just miscounted or something. So okay, so how do you go about so when did you guys so we're going to broadcast this roughly on May the 9th. Look at that. Or May the 23rd. It'll be May the 9th or May the 23rd when we broadcast this. So when was it? When was the date that you got? So this was when did you exactly firm everything up?
In terms of the meet itself?
A hotel, and you guys all of a sudden you got the hotel. You called your crew of guys. Hey, look, guys, we got a hotel. Things are starting to pick up, and I mean, you've put this one together pretty quick, eh?
It was looking pretty good the first week of February. It looked good, but we needed to really nail things down. So I think probably it would have been well, I can tell you exactly. Let's see
Okay.
here.
Yeah, tell me exactly.
I put the word out on February 17th.
Okay, like what time?
Well,
you said exactly.
I don't have that.
Okay, so you mean within a 24-hour period you can nail it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
He's ballparking it.
Yeah, he's ballparking it now. It's somewhere on February the 17th.
Yes.
Can you, because we talked to a fellow that was, I think it was the guy that was, yes, it was the guy that was organizing Indy Junction. It's right around, it's in the middle of May 22nd, I believe it is. And that weekend. And we talked to him a little bit about, I thought it would be great to do some sort of a clinic for people about how to put one of these things on. Like, do you have some sort of parameters that you need for a hotel?
We need event space. That's the key thing. So we're looking for something about the size of a ballroom that will allow us to have a large model display, because that's a really important part of the meet is the model display. And then we want to have some room for vendors, and then we need some event spaces, 2 or 3 smaller rooms,
like clinic spaces.
Exactly, clinic spaces. And that's what we have in this hotel. We have a large ballroom of about 5,000 square feet, which will be primarily the model display area. We'll have some manufacturers in there as well, displaying their wares. And then we have a smaller room on the same floor. It's interesting. The ballroom is on the top floor of the hotel, so it's overlooking all of Springfield, the tracks, the West Springfield yard.
Wow!
And so we have another room up on the top floor where we're going to have the vendors. And then the floor right below the ballroom is going to be one of our clinic rooms. And then way down on the second floor will be a clinic room.
Okay.
Luckily, there are 6 elevators.
And there's a bunch of restaurants around there and stuff.
Springfield has got a lot of restaurants. Yes, a lot of good restaurants. German restaurant, Italian. There's the casino there. All kinds of good stuff.
Can I give you a little tip about restaurants in Springfield?
Yes, sir.
There's a really good one called Cal's Wood-Fired Steakhouse, or Wood-Fired Grill, I think it's called.
Where's that?
It's on the west side of the river, on that main drag on the west side of the river, and not far from where Springfield show. But if you're gonna reserve the large room on the second floor, make sure before you get started that you specify that it's separate bills for everybody.
I will be sure to.
Yeah.
We get that kind of crowd.
Yeah, just once in a while, because you could run into a bit of confusion. They won't tell you, and then you won't, and then it'll be a surprise for everybody. So it's a little bit very nice food though, very nice people. Okay, so $119 a night for a room. That's not bad, eh?
No, we were pretty happy with that. We thought that was a good rate. Breakfast included.
Breakfast included. Well, that's a great rate.
Bonus.
Are you getting a king size room, Tom, or 2 queens?
I'll probably get a king size.
Right. So you can spread out.
That's right. Be comfy.
Yeah, exactly. I got to book my room for Tomstock.
You better hurry.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you keeping up to date on it? Like, is there a bunch of rooms booked already?
I haven't checked lately, but I think there's a bunch booked already.
All right, I better work on that tomorrow then.
Yeah, because you're not staying here.
So says you.
No, so says Deb.
Okay. All right. So now, so 190. So how much does it cost for this shindig?
The meet itself is $40 in advance, and we charge $45 at the door. But this year, we're also going to have a one-day admission for people who can only make it Friday or Saturday, and that's $25. And of course, we have a student special, $15.
Okay, that's cool.
For 17 and younger, because we want to encourage younger people to come.
And why did you have the one-day admission? Was that something you hadn't done in the past, or?
We haven't. We went up a little bit in the price, and I couldn't bear to. I just don't want to charge someone who can only make it one day for a 2-day event. So we've got the one day.
I think that's a great idea
this year. Not everybody can make it both days. Some people have to work Saturdays. Some people can't break away from work on Fridays. So let's try and accommodate folks.
But gee whiz, $40 isn't very much for 2 days and a ton of clinics. I mean, what do you got? Like 20 clinics?
We got 28.
28, yeah. So $40 for 2 days worth of hanging out with your buddies and doing model railroading. And you say you got layout tours, maybe?
On Sunday, yes.
Really? How many layouts do you think you'll have?
I'm hoping for 6 or 7.
Wow.
I've got 2 guys who've already committed. You've heard of one of them, Mr. Sweater Vest himself, Chris Adams.
Right.
and Bill Schneider of Rapido, who has taken tremendous advantage of the pandemic to just make astonishing progress on his layout.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from Chris. He works
it's just breathtaking.
Have you seen it?
I have.
All right. You don't happen to have Ken McQuarrie's phone number, do you?
I don't, but I could probably find it.
Could you? Would you please? Because I've sent him an email, but he hasn't answered yet. So
I have his email too. I could shoot him an email and include you if I can't find his phone number.
Could you?
Yeah, we saw Ken's layout at Malvern. What a treat!
Yeah, because we're going to show up with a busload of people, and I'd probably like to at least let them know that we're coming.
Give them 20 minutes notice.
Yeah, no. I think a couple of days. Like I was planning on. Like, if we show up on the Friday, I was going to at least let them know by, the previous Monday or something like that.
Is this the Tomstock event?
It is.
Well, I got to tell you, that between Tom's layout and Ken's layout, you guys will be in heaven.
I know we will. We're going to have it's a limited capacity of 132 people for the barbecue.
Yeah, well, okay.
I imagine you're going to fill that right up.
Yeah, Tom's just figuring out what restaurant that's at.
There was a kind of a pause there.
There was quite a pause there, wasn't there? What else can you tell us about? I like looking at these pictures too, and let's remind everybody, RPM meets. I'm fascinated. Are you not fascinated, Dave, by the fact? And what's the one that you like better than NERPM?
Doesn't exist anymore.
Really?
Greensburg.
What happened to it?
Their hotel got torn down and apparently being turned into a Menards. But there's some guys out there who I'm told are working on a new location. So we got our fingers crossed.
Okay, so it's not the case.
Wait, was that the Pittsburgh one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just outside of Pittsburgh in a place called Greensburg, right?
Correct. This side of Pittsburgh. My side, west of Pittsburgh.
Which you thought was like way better than NERPM.
Well, I don't know if I said that. But
okay.
What's good about it is I don't have to do anything except show up.
Yeah.
And that's the one that they alternate years with the Malvern meet. The Malvern meet is every 2 years, and it's basically, 1 year the even years are Malvern, and the odd years are Greensburg or were Greensburg.
Right.
So you've been to Tom's layout?
I have.
All right, I want to get back to that. First, I want to ask you. So I'm really, I think that Bruce, I know I said this when we were talking to Scott was his name. And it's probably, and if I look on that, you know what? If I just look on the Modeler's Life website page, I'll see what his name was. But anyways, I really think that I was saying to this fella, Scott, and I'll scroll down as I'm talking to you, that it's almost like it'd be advantageous for there to be some sort of a guideline for people that are organizing conventions, because it seems to be becoming harder and harder to find hotels and like that seems to be becoming almost the hardest part of the whole ordeal.
It was a challenge for us because the hotels want guarantees they want catering, they want meals, they want banquets. That's not really anything we're interested in. The people who come to our meet tend to want to take advantage of the restaurants in town. Locally, they want to take off and explore the area. And we talked to one hotel, and they were looking for $10,000 guaranteed in catering. And
really?
We charge $40 a head. We just don't have that kind of money. This is we try to keep these events not a lot of money because we want people to come. We know that people have made an investment to come in terms of travel expenses, hotel expense. So we just try to keep this as economical as possible, because the whole idea is just to bring people together to have a great time, to show their models, to learn something, to share, to hang out, to have a great time, and go home all jazzed to begin working on models, to bring them back next year. I mean, that's the whole point of the exercise, not to make money, not to do anything other than get people excited about model railroading.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm thinking that's becoming a more common thing, because it just seems like it's getting, like you say, the Greensburg show, they lost their hotel. Now they got to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I think a combination of the pandemic put a stress on the hotel business, and then as we came out of it, there was all this pent up demand for weddings and events. So they really didn't need to have a bunch of white guys come and hang around and for a weekend who didn't want to spend $10,000 in their
ballroom.
And the other thing is we got our model set up in the ballroom. So where are we going to have the banquet?
Right.
That's another issue. I mean, they don't want a bunch of old middle-aged guys coming in when they can, run 2 or 3 or 4 weddings through the space in the same period of time. And,
right.
And I get it. This is about making money for the hotel. They need to do that. That's why they exist. And I don't begrudge them that, but it just wasn't really compatible with what we were trying to do. So
I wonder if it'd be advantageous to start running these events in conjunction with somebody's wedding.
I think that would be very popular with the divorce attorneys.
Well, no, if you could find a couple that's, hey, if you let us come and we'll pay $40 a person, and you can have we'll have our models set up in the corner, and you can have your reception in one part of the room, and we'll have it. That might be help defray the cost for a young couple starting out.
Brian and Cindy are registered at Bed Bath & Beyond and Midwest Model Railroad.
There you go.
There you go.
there was a train show on the Saturday of my wedding, and I toyed with the idea of going to it, and then my wife got wind of it, and that very went out the window.
Then you wired and said, "Oh, I wasn't even thinking of that." Yeah,
I didn't make that train show.
No kidding, eh? All right. So now you guys you got your hotel. It's only $40. 2 questions before I let you go. So, why the RPMs seem to be becoming more and more popular? Like it seems to be the magic formula for model railroad events almost, because there's no judging, there's really no rules. Like every RPM, they're all called RPM meets, but they are in no way, very rarely are they in any way connected with another meet or any organization. Like there's not an umbrella RPM, Railroad Prototype Modelers, or umbrella organization with a president and a board of directors.
No, I think someone tried to do that a few years ago, and everybody said, "What?" No, these are just organic meets that occur in different places around the country, and all that's really required is to have a group of people who want to put it together and organize it. And it could be an afternoon at a community center, in a church basement, It can be 2 days in a hotel. It really can be anything. Just the idea is to bring people together, to have fun and to share and to learn. And as I said, to get excited to go home and work on their model trains.
What is your Facebook page called? Do you know?
It's facebook.com/NERPM.
All right, I put NERPM. See, I put it in RPM, not PRM.
And I've talked about this before, and I don't know if we've talked about it, Lionel, but the whole idea of railroad prototype modelers, we have that name, and most of us in our meets. And the last thing I think any of us want to be is exclusive. We don't want to turn anybody off. These meets are open to everybody, and we want anybody who enjoys the hobby, who wants to learn, who wants to do better, who wants to build better models. This is for you. This is a place to come and learn and have a good time. And that's the only goal. It's all about having fun, learning, and just, as I said, getting jazzed to go home and work on your models.
I see one of your clinics is like some hands-on weathering and stuff like that. Would you figure I'd get a good bunch of people wanting to partake in that?
That is a great clinic. Those guys did that at Malvern. It was very popular. They did it at our meet the last time we had it. It was very popular. And Teddy DiIorio organizes it. He works with Dave Ramos and Ralph Heiss, and they bring the supplies, and they urge people to bring a car, and they just give them some ideas on how to get going. And you just look in there, and everybody's hard at work, and they end up with something they're really proud of, and they realize, and it demystifies this whole idea of weathering. Everybody looks at this beautiful freight car they just bought, sometimes paying as much as $60. Oh my gosh, I don't want to ruin it. But these guys really guide you through it and show you that you're not ruining it. You're making it better.
What's the deal with that Ralph Heiss guy?
He's a pretty good guy.
Is he?
Good man.
Okay.
Likes the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, he likes the Lehigh Valley, that's for sure. And he's
does not wear sweater vests.
And he's buddies with, or he doesn't accessorize with scarves.
He may have a scarf once in a while. No sweater vest. So
I have a hard and fast rule. I've been having this discussion with Uncle Dave. Like if all you're wearing is a sweater and a scarf, like you got to have a coat to go with that scarf. So anyways, so these guys, and how long do you know that these guys have been doing these weathering clinics? They've
done it at several meets.
A couple of years, yeah. And it's not just Ted and Dave and Ralph. I know down at the Mid-Atlantic meet in a couple of years ago, it was down near Baltimore. Butch Eiler and Jim Lincoln did a same thing where they had a table set up in the model room, and people could come in and weather their cars and get some pointers and tips from those guys. And if you've seen Dave, I'm sure you have, but I don't know if Lionel or Bruce, you've seen anything that Butch Eiler's done. I mean, that guy is a master.
Well, he's an artist. Butch is a sign maker, which has got a tremendous artistry by itself. But he's something. He's amazing. I mean, he's a great guy, and he works from photographs, and it's just incredible what he can do. He's amazing.
Very talented.
What are you kind of hoping for, expecting as far as registrants? Like how many?
That's a good question, and I never can remember the numbers because I just don't focus on that. There's other guys who do. I want to say we've had about 150 people register in the past.
Okay.
But it all gets lost in my head. I know we had at Farmington we had total about 300 people.
Wow.
Between the guys who put the meet together, the vendors, the clinicians, the people who paid to attend, we're at about 300 people.
So I'm assuming for clinicians, they don't pay, they just do their clinic kind of thing.
Yeah, we are grateful to clinicians who share their time and expertise, and they get into the meet for free.
Right. Can we go back to that thing where you were saying, you were very eloquent about the way you described what the meet is about? It's like, because I know there's a lot of people that are very concerned about going to an RPM meet because they feel like they don't meet the criteria. They're not good enough modelers, etc. And I think that's something that
it's really important. And I am no I'm no Butch Eiler. I'm a fair to middling modeler, but I want to get better, and that's why I go to these events, and that's why we put this one together. This is for anybody who's interested in model railroading, any aspect: freight cars, locomotives, vehicles, structures. Anybody who's interested, who wants to learn, who would like to develop their skills and do better, this is for you. Everybody is welcome. We want everybody to bring models to show. We don't want just super duper modelers. We want people just beginning, because we can all learn from each other. It's really important that people feel welcome, and this really is open to everybody. We want everybody to come and feel comfortable showing their models, showing their work, and just being there.
I think that's a really important point that we want to stick to or concentrate on, is because that's exactly what really. I mean, there's not very much at these RPM meets. There's not a lot of one-upmanship or, look how good I am as compared to you. It really is very much about participation.
I guarantee anybody who brings a model, someone will at some point say to you, "Hey, how'd you do that?"
Right.
It doesn't matter what level you consider yourself. I think, something we all can learn from each other.
And you don't have to bring a model to attend. I mean, you can just pay your $40 and get your $119 room and just hang out and look at all the stuff and just go along like that.
You can.
I think that's a good point, because looking at the title Railroad Prototype Modelers, I can see some guy who's modeling his freelance road somewhere saying, "Well, I can't go to that because I don't model a prototype." So right away he's feeling that it's not for him.
Not true at all, because I know there's people that come to the Malvern meet that model freelance roads, and it doesn't matter if you're modeling a prototype or not. I guess if you want, maybe I would say, if you're looking for more prototype info or things like that, then yeah. But I think it's really more about modeling than it is about anything. It's not. People are sharing what they know about their prototype or a prototype, but I think it's just, if, like Dave's been saying, if you enjoy modeling and want to learn more about modeling and how to take your modeling up a notch, then you need to come to one of these.
Yeah, because if nothing else, I mean, that's one thing. In today's world, it's easier for people to meet and online, and then but I wish there was something that was kind of always one of the problems over the years. It was harder for people. People go and they're kind of like wallflowers, and they're afraid to talk to somebody, and you kind of want to get over that part. But I just want to reinforce. I'm getting old. As I get older, I'm thinking I only have a vocabulary of about 27 words, and I'm deathly afraid that's going to go down to like 15 or 14 or 15.
Lionel hungry.
Yeah.
Feed.
Yeah.
Lionel hungry. Feed.
That's a really good point, Lionel. What one of the nice things about our meet is that we have this large space for models, and we have the models on regular banquet tables, and we have chairs around the models, around the tables. And a lot of times people will hang out near the display and they'll work on it. They'll be weathering something, and people are right there, and people are encouraged and welcome to sit on down and just start asking questions and talking. This is a very open, very accepting group of people who are just excited about sharing. And really, anybody is welcome. Nobody looks at anybody and says, "Oh, you don't have an RPM card." Right. This is for everybody. Everybody. This is a very welcoming environment, and as far as I'm concerned, anybody new, boy, come on in. Let's get you excited.
Okay.
Let's show you how guys do things, how women do things. We've got men and women. We've got a great group of diverse group of people who are very open to sharing what they do and what they know. And that's what this is all about, sharing.
So I'm assuming that if you want to display your models, there's all sorts of paperwork you have to fill out.
None. All you have to do is bring them in.
Really?
That's it.
So how do you get there? And you get there on Thursday. Well, how long? At what point? What is the time range where you can display your models? Like when is that closed off? That there's no more room on the tables, kind of thing.
When there's no more room.
Okay.
But then our attitude is, well, we'll see if we can make some room.
All right.
We'll see if we can see if we can find another table. Maybe we can ask these folks to move their models over a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to find a way.
All right. So if somebody comes on for just Saturday, just the one day of the show, or Friday, the 1 day show price, they can still display their models.
Absolutely. They're encouraged to do so.
Seems like a very friendly atmosphere.
That's the goal.
Yeah. I've been to the one in Cocoa Beach a few times. I mean, that's what people need to understand about RPMs. They're very accepting. They're very open, open arms, come one, come all. It doesn't matter if you're brand new to the hobby. It doesn't matter if you've been in the hobby 40 years. You try it seems like it's a fascinating thing that these RPMs, using air quotes, RPMs, they all run basically under the same loose set of rules, and they're all basically the same. Come and participate.
That's it. No judging, no telling you the model's not up to snuff. None of that. It's all. We're glad to have everybody.
How long has this meet been going on?
This is about our 20th year. I kind of lost count with the 2 interruptions, but we're saying it's our 20th.
So how long have you been involved with it?
If somebody wants to arm wrestle over it, we can do that.
We can do that. Yeah, I'll arm wrestle you over it. How long have you been involved with it?
With this meet? From the start.
Really?
Yes.
Were you one of the originators?
I was.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was that long. Wow.
Yeah, we got inspired to do this we went to an event Jim Six hosted in Ohio, where we met a lot of great people. We had a great time. And we decided we wanted to do the same thing.
And when you say
we really, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, we just modeled it off of what Jim's event was like, and sort of had a vision of what we wanted to have.
And they first started. I think the history of somebody needs to write up the history of RPM meets, because they really are an asset to the hobby, and it really does explain what the hobby's all about. Yeah, it's a very, very welcoming situation.
We got to see if we can find somebody with a background in writing who could do that.
Yeah. So that's
another question. Looking at a predominance of rolling stock and motive power, are there other models you see there? Anybody bringing and scales? Any scales? Is anybody bringing Z scale stuff, or is it all HO, or what?
We have N scale. We have N scale, HO. We've had O scale. I know we've had S scale. We've had rolling stock, locomotives, vehicles, structures. This time there's a gentleman who's coming. He's also going to do a clinic for us. He builds ferry boats, railroad ferry boats.
Oh, nice.
This is the guy we found. I started a Connecticut Model Railroaders Facebook group because I knew there were people out there, and I just wanted to see if we could connect. And this gentleman started posting his photographs, and I was like, holy mackerel. So I messaged him, and I said, I hope you'd consider coming to our meet, because your models are just spectacular, and I think people would get a kick out of them. And maybe I can con you into presenting a clinic too. And he said yes immediately. So we're looking forward to having him.
It's a private group, though. Connecticut Model Railroaders.
Oh, I let everybody in.
Oh, okay.
It's to keep the riffraff spammers out. Everybody went private.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason.
We didn't do that with the AML Nation. It seems to work. Well, you have to.
We're pretty lucky, but
we have to be approved. You still have to be approved, though.
Yeah.
Actually, that's cool. So you started the Connecticut Model Railroaders, and yeah, that's another thing. Like at the St. Louis event, there's a lot of guys that they display their vehicles that they model.
Yeah, there's a really vehicle rich group out there. Mike Buddy is one of the guys who I think is a leader in vehicle model.
Absolutely.
He's amazing. He's amazing, and a super guy too.
Really,
again,
nice guy.
another guy who just willingly and happily shares his knowledge and skills.
Absolutely, that seems to be the key. That's one of the keys to the hobby, is the camaraderie.
Yeah.
I was going to ask a question. I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. So it's on June 10th and the 11th. The 11th is the Sunday, I'm assuming?
It's a Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday.
10th and 11th. Friday and Saturday is the meet. Sunday is the layout open houses.
Okay. So I can't go. Bruce asked me why I don't think I'll be able to attend.
Why can't you attend?
Because on June the 10th, I'm scheduled to have a private tour of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s race shop with none other than Kelly Earnhardt, Dale Earnhardt's daughter.
I would say that's a fairly good reason for not attending.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? It's tentative. It's definitely happening. It's just we're hammering out the date, but it's looking like it'll be that weekend or that.
There you go.
Friday or that Monday.
Where is that?
That is in Mooresville. No, it's either Mooresville or Concord, just north of Charlotte.
Oh, I was in Mooresville a couple weeks ago.
Oh, were you? What were you doing there?
I was. Going down to my wife's aunt's funeral.
Oh, well, that's not so good. So you've been to Tom's Crossline Railroad?
I have.
And when did you go there?
He's
Back
been
in
here
the fall.
He's been here a couple times.
Yeah, back in the fall was this stop. We were coming back from the Penn Central Convention in Altoona, and I messaged Tom and I said, we exchanged a few messages. This is our ETA. Does this work for you? And he said, come on over.
We prefer if people show up at dinner time. That's what we're going for. We're trying to steer everybody to get to the Crossline right around dinner time, just as he's shoving the first mouthful in his mouth.
No, we didn't want to do that. We want to be good visitors.
Well, yeah, I know, but we're trying to encourage more people to go at dinner time. So, what did you think? Tell us all about it. Tell us what you think about it. Tell us what it's like to go in when you walk in.
Well, I'm full confession here. I'm a Reading modeler too, so this was a very exciting event for me. But it's just railroad everywhere, and that's what I love. But there's logic, and it all makes sense.
How many floors is it?
Is it 5 or 6 levels, Tom, with everything together?
It's 5 levels, but there's 2 floors. That's what he's asking. There's the floor on the bottom, and then there's the floor on the bottom, and then there's the floor on the upper level, the raised floor that you access everything else from. That's what he's getting after. He's.
Are we keeping you up, Dave?
No, sir.
So okay, did you notice if there was a fire suppression system? Because one of our regular guys, Kevin Hardpart Marks, he's very concerned about a fire suppression system.
I saw fire extinguishers.
Okay, did you really? Okay, there you go. So all right. So what are the aisles like? Are the aisles is it crowded? Can you walk around? Do you feel like you're not jammed in? Like there's a wide enough aisle? Like say you're
absolutely. It's well designed.
So say you're
designed for comfort and operation.
Say that you're a guy that wears a 3X T-shirt. Is there plenty of room to get around?
Well, I wear a 2X, so yes.
Okay. Well, if two guys that wear 2X T-shirts were to meet in the aisleway, would they be able to get past each other?
Well, there may be some rubbing, but you'll get through it.
Yeah, that's more.
But I've been doing Noom, so I'm getting down to an XL.
Oh yeah, I was going to do Noom too, but they wanted the how do you feel about your life? And it's like I just want to stop eating barbecue potato chips. I really don't want to talk to you.
That's okay. You can do it without telling them anything. That's what I do.
Tom, have you made it to Bear's Barbecue north of Hartford?
Yes. We were there. That's where we ate this year.
At Springfield.
At Springfield.
Okay. Yeah, I was there last night. It was rough.
Rough?
I love that place.
Well, what rough? How?
Rough, and it was just spectacular. And I didn't do well on Noom yesterday.
Oh well, you can't do good every day.
Noom will tell you though it's okay to do that, and then you just figure out it's a learning experience and carry on.
Maybe we should do a podcast.
Unfortunately, I have a lot of learning experience as a bear.
Maybe we should do a podcast about Noom and guys losing weight or something.
There you go.
All right. Well, have you got it? Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? It's going to turn out that the guy that runs Noom is some sort of, he's selling everybody chocolate on the side or something. It seems like a fad right now. I couldn't figure out how to get past all those touchy-feely questions, Bruce.
Well, you ignore them.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You can opt not to. You're put in a group, but you can totally opt not to interact with them at any time, which is I do. I read my daily stuff, and there's some question and answer, and share your result with a group. Goes to your group, and you just click done, and there's no sharing involved. So it's.
So what is the point of Noom then if you're not being involved?
Well, because what they're telling is how to rethink about how you approach meals and things like that.
Yes. And so what it has done for me is when I stop at Cumberland Farms and I look at this glorious soft pretzel, I look at the label and it says 800 calories. And I say,
Yes, it is. Yeah,
it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
No.
And you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that before?
No, I really couldn't. Save it for the burn ends it bears.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So all three of you guys are doing good with your weight loss right now. Tom's doing good. Bruce is doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I've lost about 25 or so right now. Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I had lost about 20 pounds, but I found them again, fortunately. I was able to.
Well, I'm going to keep plugging it. I'm down about 20.
Yeah, boy.
Got, probably another 130 to go.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Get me down to middle school weight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you want to be careful. You don't want to look like one of those guys. You don't want to look like Ed McMahon did in the latter stages of the Tonight Show, where he just lost a whole bunch of weight all at once, and then he looked gaunt. There's nothing worse than an old guy that loses like 80 pounds, and then he just looks like a skeleton of his former self.
I don't foresee that being a problem.
All right, is there anything else you want to tell us? So we got it all covered. It's June 10th and 11th, the Friday and Saturday. It's $40 if you're going both days. It's $25 if you're going just one of the days.
It's $40 in advance, $45 at the door for both days.
Okay,
we encourage people to register in advance because it helps us plan. And there's also the nice hotel room rate. You've got to book by May 26th to get that. So
okay.
There's a deadline there. And this is all on our website, nerpm.org.
Right.
nerpm.org.
nerpm.org.
Yes, sir.
nerpm.org. That's actually a really good website, too. Give him a tip of the hat to the guy that's made the website.
Tom is a technological whiz.
There you go.
Tom Murray.
So it's June. So there's stuff to do on the Thursday night. It's all day Friday. It's all day Saturday, and then you're going to have some layouts to tour on Sunday, hopefully.
That's correct.
And $40 if you register in advance, $45 at the door. And then what else is there? Please bring your models. Please come and partake. You should have a group discussion thing or something. It'd be a cool way if we could figure out how we could get people to connect like in person like they do on the internet. That's the next great frontier, I think.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. Any other questions, gentlemen?
No, sir.
This is a good. I'm looking at the clinic list here. There's some really good. There's some good ones on here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, like was at Melbourne, they weren't any good.
No, they were every bit as good at Malvern. No, it's just the cool thing about going to these meets in different parts of the country is you get exposed to different modelers from different parts of the country that don't necessarily travel. You have a handful of guys that will go all over the country for an RPM meet. They'll go to Cocoa Beach. They'll go to what used to be Naperville. They'll go to Malvern. They'll go to, the one out on the West Coast. And then you have guys that'll just stay close to home. So it's, and for whatever reasons too, maybe schedules conflict or whatever that they can't. So it's nice that, you'll see, you'll have this group that, you can see in different locations, but then you get people that, that they only will present maybe in their home area, and also not only the clinicians, but the topics of the clinic. You get a little bit more of that, the geographic flavor sometimes. You go up to New England, you have people like Jim Dufour and his Boston and Maine, or Randy Laframboise and his Rutland. You get people that are more modeling Northeast railroads, where you go down to the Mid-Atlantic meet, you see a lot of B&O, C&O, whatever. So that's another cool thing about, making the effort to travel to some of these around the country, because you get different exposure and different flavors from meet to meet to meet. It's not, it's not just cookie cutter every time, every place.
Oh yeah, and for some reason or other, the RPM meets seem to have a particularly spectacular lineup of clinicians. That's another fascinating kind of study. Is I feel like the clinicians at an NMRA convention are different than the clinicians you'll get at an RPM meet. It's a different flavor, a different approach, or something. A different list of, I like, here's Mike Boland, all about grade crossings. And you already know that it's probably 45 or 50 solid minutes of slides or whatever we call them now that are on your PowerPoint display. And, probably a lot of great photos and explanations and stuff you'll come away going, I didn't know that. It's just
there's all these wonderful experts out there who've got great information and are just very open about sharing it. It's great.
Tom, what are you doing? Are you doing a PowerPoint presentation or something?
Yeah. My clinic is on a PowerPoint, and it's basically about the layout and kind of the history of the layout and the recent developments with realizing that the focus of the layout is really about how the Reading supported the operations of Bethlehem Steel and what that means now in terms of some changes I'm making to the layout. I actually have a good portion of the top deck has been completely torn up.
Before you ever got close to finishing having all the track in, you're already tearing it out.
Well, the track was in on that layout.
That's what I mean. But you still hadn't done there's a yard you still got to finish, Reading Yard and stuff like that. And already before you got all the track in for the original plan, now you're already making changes because who came by? Jim
Herzog.
Jim Herzog came by. I'd love to see his layout.
Oh, me too.
Can we add that to the list? What direction does he live from?
He's up near Allentown. He's northeast of me.
Okay. Maybe we should have 2 days of bus trips for Tom's time.
We can talk.
So okay, now this is something interesting, Tom. And now I'm not just killing time, but I'm interested in this. I just had this thought. I bet it's a lot easier now to make a clinic, because it's easier to take photos because you just use your phone.
Yeah. I mean, it's if PowerPoint, it's easy.
Well, PowerPoint's not hugely PowerPoint or whatever it's called on Apple. It's the same basic idea. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not terribly difficult. I mean, there's YouTube videos, but I mean more what I was thinking is in the old days when I used to do clinics, they'd be slides, and you would have a limited number of slides because you just couldn't take on film. It's just not as easy. Whereas with your phone, you're just clicking away. You probably have 1,000 pictures to choose from, kind of thing. And then if all of a sudden you decide, oh, geez, I'd like to have a picture of this, you just go out to the layout, pull out your phone, take a photo, and boom, you got it.
Yeah, that part is easy. That does make it easy that you can just grab a picture on your phone and, dump it into your computer and crop it and edit it, whatever. And also the fact that you can just, if you need a prototype photo or something, you can either just scan one, or you can even just go out to the internet and grab one and dump it into the slide. So yeah, it's not difficult at all to make the PowerPoint.
Yeah. I mean, once you learn how to do PowerPoint. All right, I got a question for you, Bruce.
Yes.
I think we'll make this a part of All-Star Variety Hour.
Okay.
And should we got that interview we did with the mayor of Hornpain, Boy George, four-banger. Should we combine it with that, or should we combine it with that interview we did the other night from the guy from KR Models?
Let's go with Boy George.
All right, Boy George, it is. All right, so let's make this the end of the show. I think Boy George is a good opener, and this second part will be the closer for this particular interview. I mean, we could just make this an interview standalone all by itself. It's an hour and 4 minutes now. This could be a standalone show by itself. All right. We're going to give out the email address. Tom, you want to give us... Is there anything else, Dave? Have we covered it all?
I think we've covered it all. We have, I guess I should add, we have a raffle each night. We have...
well, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Every time somebody goes to NERPM, they're always talking about the raffle.
We have a lot of fun. We have a raffle Friday night and a raffle Saturday night with a lot of items contributed by very generous manufacturers and retailers. That's a lot of fun. We have some great vendors and great manufacturers coming, and the raffle's a great way to end the night. There's much laughing,
and much carrying on. So, how many vendors do you think you'll have?
That's a good question. I know you love
okay, hang on a minute. Have some of the questions not been that great, or
they've all been spectacular?
Okay.
That's a moving target right now. I think I have. Can I list them? Is it okay to list them?
Absolutely.
I have Bob's Photo, Ron's Books, Finero and Camerlengo, the Hobby Gallery, which is an old hobby shop from our area. Steve Mignani runs it. A lot of people might know Steve. He's a great guy. We've got Rocket Express, who produces resin kits for the Rock Island.
Oh, really?
We have Yarmouth Model Works.
Ooh.
Gosh, I know I'm probably missing somebody. We know Rapido is coming. Scale Trains will be coming.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we've got a great. Make sure
you put those guys at opposite ends of the room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're actually gonna have them arm wrestle. No. Yeah. We've got there's great guys, and we'll probably have a couple more. I've got a couple people I'm talking to. We don't have a huge amount of vendor space, so we try to be carefully select who we have room for, because we just want to try and get the people who get what the meat is and who fit into it and cater to that community of modelers.
Okay, and why were you excited, Tom? I'm assuming that woo about Yarmouth Models was about Yarmouth Models.
Well, no, that's Pierre Oliver and his resin cars.
Peter or Pierre?
Pierre Oliver.
Okay. And they're very good, are they? Or
they're very distinct prototypes, and they're very well done kits. I mean, he's been featured on Trainmasters TV with a lot of information on how to build resin car kits, which is an area of the hobby that tends to intimidate many people, and so it's been enjoyable to watch his videos. And I haven't purchased any of his cars, but knowing that he's going to be there, I might have to take the plunge and get one and actually get one to try.
He's got a Reading 40-footer that I'm going to have to get.
All right, and he even has, here's one here, Pacific Great Eastern boxcar, 1937 AAR boxcar. And beautiful photo. Oh my God, it's just an absolutely beautiful photo.
He's quite good.
Yeah, we should get him on the show, Bruce.
Not far away.
Yeah. What's that?
He is from your neighborhood.
He's not far away. He's down Hamilton. He's down Hamilton, Cambridge way somewhere, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can't have him on because you can't have too many Canadians.
Oh, he's in St. Thomas. Sorry, he's in St. Thomas.
Yeah, that's in Canada.
Yeah.
We have a rule about how many Canadians we can have on. Yeah, that's cool.
I'll be your token American.
What's that?
I could be your token American.
You can be the token American?
You need one? Sure. I'm always available.
All right. Would you like to be part of that podcast?
Sure. I don't know how much I'd have to contribute, because Pierre is quite accomplished and quite impressive.
Well, if you're going to be the token American, you've got to either have some sort of enthusiasm when I ask you, or just bow out.
I'll have.
Don't say you want to be the token American and then go, well, I got nothing to add. And besides,
all
right, okay. And besides, we have a nice smattering of Canadians and Americans here, so we've divided it very evenly, 50-50. All right. So, okay. And that's very cool. So how do you go about, are you the guy in charge of getting the vendors?
Yes, pretty much. I talk to folks, and people reach out to me.
Do people reach out to you? Like when you finally did this announce that the NERPM was going ahead? Excuse me. When you finally did announce that it was going ahead, did people start to reach out to you?
Yes.
Okay.
We've got our core of people who we've had in the past, and we give them priority because they have supported us. So we want to continue to support them. But then we just have to assess how much space we have, and then we look for people who are a good fit.
And do you think you have more or less vendor space than you did the last time you had a show?
And we continue to struggle. I wish we had a lot more space for vendors, but we have a good sized room, and we don't want it to be too crowded. We want it to be comfortable for people to move around. But I think I have a little bit more space. I've reached out to a particular manufacturer to see if he would like to attend.
Okay. And who's that?
So we'll. It's. I don't know if I should say it because I don't want to put him in an awkward position. I hope he comes, but if he can't make it, that's okay too. But
you realize
it's a decal manufacturer.
You realize nobody's listening, right?
Well, we're good. Lots of people are going to be listening.
Oh, okay. Well, you seem pretty confident. Tom, he seems pretty confident about that. But the prizes, the raffle, let's not pass over that because everybody that ever goes to NERPM goes on and on about the raffle. Are you in charge of getting those prizes?
I am.
So that sounds like an awfully big job.
Well, there's a lot of moving parts, but I take it a step at a time, and it usually works out. Okay,
well, let me ask you this question: why is it that you put so much effort into this? What is the fun factor for you? Why is it? Why there's a lot of work? I mean, I know John Sacerdote really enjoys running Springfield, and he likes being involved. Like, what is the fun factor for you for putting in so much work into creating this event for people?
I get a kick out of how everybody has a good time. And it's just that simple. I know it sounds kind of hokey, but people come, they have a blast, and that's my reward. I just want people to have a good time and share this great hobby.
Do you have any pieces of advice, stellar advice, 20 years experience of operating or running an event? Do you have any particular pieces of advice, pitfalls that you need to avoid?
I think you just need to have an event where your goal is to have fun and to have a good event. It can't be about making money. It can't be about, some selfish goal. It's just got to be about putting together something for the good of the model railroading community. I know it sounds hokey, and probably some people out there go, "I don't believe this guy," but that honestly is what it's about. We just want to have a good time, and people come up to me after the meet, and they've had a blast. They learned something. They met some new guys. They met some new people, and they just had a ball. And that's it. That's all it's about. Now, granted, I don't want to lose money at the end of the show or at the end of the event, at the end of the meet. We only had that happen once, but we just want to break even and have enough money in the pot to do next year. And if for some reason everything goes to heck and we don't have any money, well, we know that's the final year.
Okay.
But the goal is just to have fun, bring people together, have fun, bring new people, share, and just share this great hobby.
Right. So it's not about making money. It's not about some other alternative goal. It's just about trying to bring people, and it's a fun way. It's probably exactly the same as the podcast. I started out doing it, and this might be fun. Maybe somebody will listen, and if they do, that'll be fun to interact with people. So I'm just assuming that if you guys are fortunate enough to make a few bucks, a bit of profit, you stick that in a jar, and then you use that money for the next show.
Exactly. It goes into the pot, and we use it for next year because we have expenses. We give gifts to all of the people who present clinics.
Oh, wow.
We have to rent tables. We have to make copies. There's some, material, name badges. We have to buy name badges. We have to buy printer ink for the name badges. So there are costs. And the goal is to cover those, have some money left over at the end, have it in the pot for next year.
Yeah, and I mean it sounds like there's a fair amount of expense, but you just you're willing to take the chance. And what was it like the first year you did it? Was it like it doesn't sound to me like it's ever been a nail biting experience. It's been probably a, gee, I wonder if this will work out kind of deal.
Well,
but
the first year, it's funny. We've had different steps along the way where I thought, oh, geez, how's this going to go? The first year was a particular challenge. We'd had the meet. The meet we attended in Ohio was in a hotel. The second meet we attended was in a YMCA. We wanted to try and have it in a hotel, and we searched around and we were nobodies. We had no record. It was just a couple of guys trying to organize it. We didn't even have an organization behind us. And we had talked to this particular hotel, and the woman who was in the sales office made these promises to us and told us all these things, gave us what we thought was a nut we could cover for an event space. And she'd tell us one thing, and then we get a contract, and it said completely the opposite, with a lot more money. And we'd go back to work, and this back and forth went on for months, and we just could never get the numbers together. We went back one time, and she was gone, and we showed the guy who was in charge the information we'd had from her, and he looked at it and he said, "I can't meet this. We can't do this. This can't happen." That was our first year, and so we scrambled. Now, in my former career as a newspaper reporter, I used to spend a lot of time covering Board of Selectmen, planning and zoning, whatnot meetings. And I covered this little town called Canton, Connecticut. And they had a community center. And I would sit in this big room getting bored as they talked about some housing development. And I thought, this would be a great room to have a model display in during a prototype meeting. So when we scrambled after the hotel fell apart, I went to the town administrator of the town, told him what we wanted to do. I went to the first select woman, told her what we wanted to do, bring people to town, have them spend money in the local restaurants and whatnot. And they said, "Hey, that's a great idea. We'll charge you $200. And it was great. And that was the first place we had to meet, the Canton Community Center. People loved the place. They loved Collinsville. They all loved the Collins Axe Company down in Collinsville, this old factory, which is where John Brown bought his pikes when he went after Harper's Ferry. But that's another story. And it was a great location, but we outgrew it. And when we outgrew it, we needed to go into a hotel to have the ballroom, to have the larger space. And that's when John Sacerdote and the Amherst Society began to work with us. We needed to have some sort of larger entity behind us instead of just being a couple guys. And John is a doer, as we discussed, and he helped us put it together. We moved into a hotel. For some reason, that hotel decided to tear down its event space. That was the first hotel we killed. And then after that, we moved to the Farmington Marriott, and we killed that hotel. So we're hoping we do a lot better at the.
You guys got a bad track record going here.
We do. We're getting a little bit of a complex.
But,
no kidding. We're hoping this one works out.
Yes. Do you have any references the last two hotels we closed down, but besides that,
sounds like just a lot of fun. Sounds like you're just having a ball doing this. Have you ever been to this one before, Tom?
I have been one other time. I've been to the in the community center that Dave's talking about.
Okay.
And it's a great little center. But I totally can, vouch for what Dave is saying about outgrowing it. Parking was at a bit of a premium, from what I remember the time I was there. But no, it was a great little town, not too far from, Hartford or the main highways or anything, but, very quaint little Connecticut town. And again, it was a great meet. I really enjoyed it. And that's why I'm coming back.
Perfect. I was going to ask a really good question. I can't remember what it was. No,
all your questions are very good, Lionel.
Oh, thanks very much. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. I know that's an unsolicited opinion on your part. Oh yeah. How long does it take you to get? How far is it from your place, Tom, to Springfield?
It's about a half-hour drive. Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. Not me.
Yeah.
It's about for me. It's about 5 hours.
Right. No, that's not bad then.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you can roll out of bed around 11, have some breakfast, and hit the road about 1, and you'll be there at 6.
Yeah, it's not a bad drive. It's all it's all highway, and I mean I've driven my company's home office is in Hartford, so
Right.
it's I've driven that route countless times.
Right.
So
And you know most of the state troopers along the way.
no, just
Okay.
a couple.
All right, that's it. Now we've turned this into a show by itself. Sorry, George, we ran out of time.
You got bumped, George.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Dave. You should be on more often.
Well, anytime.
All right, you can be the token
happy to.
American.
I can be a token lots of things.
Yeah,
Whatever
you can
need
be a
me.
token. What's your job? Wait, oh yeah, how's your new job going these days?
It's good.
What do you do now?
It's good. I am a communications person / spokesman for a town here in Connecticut, the town of Vernon,
Vernon, Connecticut.
which is east of Hartford. And most people who travel between New York and Boston might be familiar with Rein's Deli, REIN''S, which is a wonderful restaurant in Vernon. And that's when people say, "Where's Vernon?" I say, "Have you ever been to Rein's Deli?" "Oh yeah, that's Vernon."
Oh, okay. What's the population of Vernon?
About 30,000 people.
Nice.
It's a neat historic town. It was a center of textile manufacturing from just before the Civil War up into the 40s and the 50s. A lot of mills in town. Several have been restored and are now apartment buildings. A couple we're working on. But it's just a neat community, great people, incredible volunteer spirit. The old railroad that ran through town between Hartford and Willimantic, Connecticut, is a very popular rail trail. Just all kinds of good stuff.
And how far is it from where you live?
It's about 25 minutes.
Okay. And I'm assuming it's one of those jobs you can do either. You probably don't have an office. You probably do most of it from your laptop.
I work in town hall, the third floor of town hall, and I work with a bunch of terrific people, and I do the town website. I write press releases. I'm I field calls from the press and do whatever needs to be done.
Okay. What year was it founded?
It is, let me think. It's about 250 years old, but the town is much older in terms of people being there and activity. It was incorporated relatively late.
Right. Does it seem like it might have been founded in 1808?
That'd be a pretty good date right there.
All right. What's the elevation of Vernon, Connecticut?
Well, which part? Henry Park or Rockville?
All right. Here's the toughie. Of all the towns and cities in Toland County, Connecticut, Toland County, Connecticut. Who's asking the questions here, Dave? You or me?
Okay. That's right. Sorry about that.
Of all the towns and cities in Toland, Connecticut, Toland County in Connecticut, which town is the most populous in the whole county?
That would be Vernon.
Nice one. And, do you prefer Tallockville or Dobsonville?
Talcottville and Dobsonville. I prefer the Talcottville name.
All right.
They came a little bit later, so that's one of the little boroughs, and again, it was built up around a mill, the Talcott Mill.
All right. What are the two area codes of Vernon, Connecticut?
There's only one that I'm aware of, 06066.
860?
Oh, area codes.
Yeah.
860. There's only one.
Yeah, what did
I
you
think?
think?
Zip code.
No. And what's about 959?
959 is an area code in Vernon. I'm not familiar with that one. That must be for cell phones.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably a cell phone. What's the square area in kilometers?
We got rid of the metric system when I was in middle school, so I don't know.
46.9 kilometers.
Okay. I multiply that times 6, and I get something like miles per hour, right?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. It was incorporated in 1808 from Bolton. Who's it named after?
Bolton?
No,
Vernon?
Vernon.
It's named after, I believe, Vernon, England.
George Washington's Mount Vernon estate.
You're right. I screwed that one up.
But I thought it was named after Dean Vernon Wormer.
Oh, that could be.
How many households?
I could look that up, and you have to get back to you on that one. But I got one for you. Do you know there's a very famous musician from Vernon? Wrote quite a few great songs, hit songs.
Buddy Holly.
At a Gene
No,
Pitney.
buddy's from Lubbock, Texas.
I know that. I know, Bruce. I'm just spitting out a name. It's called entertainment. It's called showbiz, Bruce.
Gene Pitney.
Oh, that's a cool one. It hurts to be in love day and night, night and day. Gene Pitney, he's got a lot of great songs. I wish I'd seen him.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I'd seen him in person. He is great. Who's the mayor of Vernon?
A man named Daniel Champagne.
Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. All right. What's a major highway?
Interstate 84.
There you go. Average income. What's the median income of Vernon?
I'll have to get back to you on that one.
All right. Okay. All right. That's it. We're done. We've killed enough time. We've heard all about Vernon, Connecticut. It's the Vernon, Connecticut is the official city of Dave. It's the official Dave.
I just worked there. There's many other more remarkable people there.
I bet you were enjoying that job after a career in the newspaper business, eh?
I loved my job at the newspaper. Unfortunately, there have been dramatic changes in the newspaper business, and my old paper was taken over by a hedge fund, and of course, they make everything better. So this is a good job I found. I'm very happy to be where I am. I work with great people.
Yeah. So there's been changes in the newspaper industry, like what?
Kind of the collapse of the business model.
Kind of the collapse, yeah. How much longer do you think model railroaders going to last?
I'll tell you. I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I hope a long time. I'm intrigued by the job the folks at Railroad Model Craftsmen are doing.
Intrigued is a good word. Like, holy smokes, the difference between those two magazines is like day and night. It's like it's like being on the Carpathia watching the Titanic go down.
Yeah, I like both magazines, but I think Otto and his team are really doing a heck of a job. And,
are they ever? Is he ever? Holy mackerel. That magazine, I mean, the RMC and MR, Model Railroad News and Railfan and Railroad and that whole lineup from White River Productions. And I mean, I'm a Model Railroader fan. I mean, I was I was born and raised on Model Railroader.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's literally like standing on it's like being, if you're at RMC, it's like being on the deck of the Carpathia and watching the Titanic go down. It's like, what?
Yeah. The old formula always was ads drive page count, and that's the way it is in any print publication. And they really seem to stick to that at Model Railroader. The page counts are way under 100 now, it seems, driven by or primarily by the decline in advertising. Whereas RMC does not seem to be as married to that formula. They have higher page counts. Just a beefier magazine, and I've always enjoyed Craftsman. I've always thought the folks did a great job, but I really think you're right. The folks at White River have done a great job.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed in the way Model Railroader's been handled by Kalmbach. It's very disappointing to watch something that was so much a part of so much. I mean, I can remember back in the 80s and 90s, the thing was well over 200 pages, or it was.
Sure.
It's funny you say that. I had grabbed a couple back issues out of a blue tub in the barn the other day, and I was flipping through it a little bit this morning, and the thing is like close to 200 pages, and it was just like a random month of 1995, and there were so many different articles, and I mean, there was just so much meat to it compared to what an MR looks like now.
Yeah, I mean, the tissue paper that they're printing it on and the way they're letting it just kind of disintegrate into the. It just, I find it very. I was talking to somebody about it, and I almost find it seems to me like it's kind of like a disgrace that they're letting this happen, and it's got nothing to do with the editorial staff, obviously.
Those folks work their tails off. They're great people.
Absolutely, yeah. It's got nothing to do
dealing with the hand. Yeah.
Yeah, they're dealing with the financial hand that they've been dealt, and the problem is Kalmbach, just as a corporation, doesn't seem to realize that corporation was built on the shoulders of Model Railroader. And now they're just letting it, it's I find it to be very disappointing and I find it very, very disappointing. And I don't know what the word is when you're, it's like almost like hurtful or whatever the word is I'm trying to think of. It's just to watch this happen and right in front of your eyes. It's like, man, oh man, this was like a huge part of my life. Model Railroader was like, you didn't do anything without Model Railroader at your side. And this bulk.
I look forward to it every month.
Yeah, like Tom says, this bulky, thick magazine with all this information, it would take you a month to read it before the next one came out. And now it seems the roles have been completely reversed. The RMC of today is like, it's like a magazine that you see it and you pick it up and it's like, well, I can't leave the store without buying this because it's just such a pleasure to read and to hold in your hand, Anyways, I'm very disappointed.
I agree.
All right. Bruce, can you give out our email address?
Sure. Assuming Tom doesn't want to do it now.
Oh, yeah. I did.
Bruce, go for it. You're so much better at it than I am.
Yes, our email address. Please send us emails. We love to get emails from you because whether you like us or don't like us or in between, let us know. And we will read your emails. And you may be pleasantly surprised on some issue of viewer mail. Send us an email, modlerslife@gmail.com. That's modelers with one L, modlerslife@gmail.com.
Dave, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. Are you ready?
I'll do my best.
Okay. I very much enjoyed our conversation tonight. I very much look forward to publicizing the New England, the NERPM, excuse me, the NERPM. I very much look forward to publicizing NERPM on the podcast. It's a lot of fun, having fun talking to you and all that stuff. And I look forward to the next time we talk. But I got to tell you.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. There I go again. I just wanted to thank you for your help and your assistance and your interest, and we appreciate it.
Oh, great. But this softens the blow for what I'm about to say. I really enjoy the viewer. I think the viewer mail shows are my favorite. So that's not to say I feel any less honored by your presence, but viewer mail shows are like my favorite. Bruce was just talking about viewer mail, and I love doing viewer mail.
It is a pile of fun.
It is a pile of fun. We like emails that are both pro and con. And whether you got criticism or whether you got something positive to say, we enjoy both of those. So now, Dave, have you ever listened to the podcast?
As a matter of fact, I have.
Okay. Do you enjoy it on Mondays when you do listen to it?
I enjoy it every day. I listen to it.
There you go. Well, if you enjoy it that much, if on our website at modelerslife.com, if you go down, you scroll down just a little bit and you'll see a thing that says Patreon. If you click on that, it'll take you to a page that explains to you what Patreon is. And just for 365 payments of 16 cents a day, you can get twice as much podcasting every week, twice as much of Modeler's Life each week.
That sounds like a deal at triple the price.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, for you, that can be arranged.
Yeah, we can make a special deal for you.
Yeah, we'll make a special deal for you. You'll get the poster size legs picture.
Yeah, and now I have a particularly interesting question. Now I know you're working on losing weight and stuff like that, and I'm very proud of you for doing that because it's It's good for your health. And it means you'll be able to organize NERPM, excuse me, for many, many more years to come. But Dave, have you ever thought about having a T-shirt with a hot dog on it?
I have one. I have two.
Really?
I do indeed. In fact, I'm wearing one today.
A T-shirt with a hot dog on it?
I am.
What is it? What's the T-shirt?
It's for my favorite hot dog stand.
Which hot dog stand is that?
It's called Kurt's Muckies, Muckes. That's a brand of hot dog made here in Connecticut. And a friend of mine named Kurt Johnson has a hot dog cart along Route 8 in Torrington, Connecticut. and he has great hot dogs and great toppings.
Well,
I recommend the chili, kraut, and mustard.
Chili, kraut, and mustard.
That sounds like a good combo.
Yeah. Well, now that we're on to that subject, Dave, would you ever put ketchup on your hot dog?
What do you think? I'm a monster?
Oh,
Oh, so close.
No, that's the right answer, Dave. I'm with you 100%.
No, it's not.
It's you should never put ketchup on your hot dog after the age of 8.
Only if you have no mind of your own.
Let's see. So anyways, if you ever want another T-shirt with a hot dog on, that was a great answer, by the way. If you ever want another T-shirt with a hot dog on it, if you go to Midwest Model Railroad, have you ever ordered any stuff from those guys?
I have not, but it's, one of those things I keep thinking I need to do.
Yeah. Well, while you're there, if you scroll across the navigation bar all the way to the right and click on AML, boom, you'll be in a wonderland of Modeler's Life merchandise. Hats, hoodies, T-shirts, mugs, whatever you could possibly need. And also, right there, in amongst all that stuff, you can find a T-shirt with a hot dog on it.
That sounds like a plan.
It does. It's a great T-shirt. Is that it, Bruce? Have we covered everything?
You didn't mention their easy way to contact us by email via our website.
Oh, yeah, right. And if you didn't for anybody out there that didn't catch the email address, if you just click on a picture of Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy, in a particularly agitated state, you'll be able to, boom, the email address will already be filled out for you. And all you got to do is put in the subject line and your text, and boom, you're ready to go. And like I say, Dave, I've really enjoyed this podcast. I enjoy every podcast you're on, but viewer mail is my favorite.
I'll try to do better.
All right. For every 100 females in Vernon, Connecticut over the age of 18, how many males are there?
88.
89.1. Nice.
Wow.
You know quite a bit about Vernon.
That was a wag right there.
as he should.
As he should. Being their
town spokesman.
Yeah.
And if I don't know, I'll find out.
There you go. Beautiful. I think that's it. Now we're done. I'm pretty sure we're done now, aren't we, Bruce?
We've got email address, website, Patreon, MidwestModelRR.com. Yeah, we're pretty much there.
All right. Are you ready? So, David, are you ready for the end?
I am.
Okay. So
the end of everything or just the podcast?
Just the podcast.
Okay, yes, I'm ready.
The end of everything seems a little bit
ominous.
Dramatic or ominous, yeah.
Is this an episode or a segment?
This is a show.
Okay, you were going to do the wrong one.
Was I?
You were.
What was I going to go do?
You were going to start as Remember.
This isn't an episode. This is a show.
Right.
Right. It's not going to be an episode. It's not going to be like episode 1895.
Okay.
It's just going to be a show stuck in the middle. You know how every other week there's like...
Yeah.
And then every other week there's something else? This is something else. Dave is something else, so that's why this is something else.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense.
Yeah. So remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
residents of Vernon, Connecticut.
Modeler's Life is sponsored by Because I Love Sushi. You could love any old sushi, but would it love you back?
It's another Lincoln Homer.
Sweet. That was a good answer. Residents of Vernon, Connecticut. Salute.